Hi, Jamie. Could you tell us a bit about yourself and your career?
Sure. Hi, my name is Jaime Fliman, and I am an adolescent psychotherapist. Oh gosh, how long have I been doing this? Since I think it's been close to 20 years now. And I love what I do. I really, really do. I started my career at New York Presbyterian Hospital on the adolescent psych unit there, and then built a private practice while working there. And I'm now in full-time private practice working with teenagers and young adults who are struggling with some mental health issues. I have a subspecialty in working with kids who are suicidal and self-harming and help them kind of get on a better path.
So, what is the most interesting or meaningful part of your job?
Where do you begin? To see kids kind of be in a dark hole, in a dark place, and then help them find meaning, find contentment, find happiness, find joy, give them strategies and skills to live in a world that's complex and complicated. The mental health pandemic is here, it's arrived, and to watch kids, I don't know, struggle and then thrive is priceless.
So, why did you want to work with children specifically?
I've always loved working with kids. I remember in middle school and high school babysitting. I remember starting to volunteer and intern in hospitals and in different tutoring programs. And I always just loved it. It just, I don't know, it filled me up. It excited me. And it just felt like a natural progression to specialize in kids. I also think that kids are interested in change. I think kids are struggling, and I think that they're super resilient. And I think it's an interesting time to make sure that you can get them at a time they're ripe for change and interested in change.
Cool. So, then what are a few tips or pieces of advice that you would give to someone who's interested in following a career path similar to yours?
I would say passion first, excitement, desire, and I don't know, a love of learning. I would say that every day I still learn something new as a therapist. And if you're interested in kind of personal and professional growth, I think it's a great career. And I don't know, I think mental health and kind of brain health is kind of the new wave. I think it's here to stay. So I think it's a career that you will flourish and find a lot of success and will be very busy.
Oh, and also you mentioned that you were a child psychotherapist. So, what's the difference between like a psychotherapist and or a psychiatrist or therapist? Like, what does psychotherapist mean?
So, a psychiatrist is somebody who goes to medical school, a psychotherapist, a psychologist, a licensed clinical social worker. Those are all masters or, PsyDs or PhDs.
Okay,
So,
cool.
really, the type of education.
So then what is like the specific skills that a psychotherapist needs as opposed to like a psychologist then?
I would say that they would be similar. I think it depends on, there's so many subspecialties within therapy. I specialize in something called dialectical behavioral therapy, which is an offshoot of cognitive behavioral therapy. And so there's various subspecialties within the field. And I think it's important to become an expert in one particular area and not say that you're good at everything, because it's unrealistic. I think it's important to be humble enough to say, this is my area of expertise, and a friend of mine or a colleague of mine has a different area of expertise.
Got it. Oh, and my last question is because you mentioned DBT, what exactly is DBT?
So dialectical behavioral therapy is a therapy that has the same tenets as cognitive behavioral therapy, but you add in something called mindfulness, which is a big buzzword in lots of articles and lots of papers. And ideally, lots of schools are teaching it now. And so, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is trying to focus on one thing in one moment, non judgmentally. Not something easy to do in this day and age when all we do is multitask. So, there's a lot of studies that talk about if an uptick in mindfulness actually is a reduction in stress and anxiety and misery and suffering. And you add in mindfulness with a bunch of different cognitive behavioral strategies. It was originally developed for some people with a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder. But what we've learned over the past, 20, 30 years is actually the skills and the strategies are helpful for all of us. And that you can call them a skill, you can integrate them into your life daily. And there's a lot of research to back up how valuable DBT is in reducing the suffering of not only suicidal people, depressed people, people with addiction, even people who are kind of neurodivergent. I mean, it really, really helps, I think, everybody. I think the skills are really, really, really important and really valuable for life. And so if you learn them early, I think it gives you kind of sets the stage for higher levels of success and happiness and contentment.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I think that's all for today.
Okay, great.
Great.